Hi, my name is Peter, and in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up real-time translation for incoming chat conversations. Now, Microsoft has created some opportunity of. Now, Microsoft has created a way of translating all of the incoming conversations from a customer to the agent, to the human service representative in a chosen language. That means that I can type as a customer in Dutch while my CSR is answering and can read the incoming conversations in English, right? He can answer in English, and then on the customer's end, it will be then translated back to Dutch, right? Without them seeing that it is actually a translator service in between. Really cool. Now, there is a huge disclaimer here. This video is covering the way of setting it up with a web resource that you have to upload, and we're going to take all of the steps so you can see how it works. Mind that Microsoft actually has announced that they are revamping this whole process and are going to make this much, much, much easier. Right? So when the new wave 2, is coming out, and when this new functionality is actually going to go live, then I will replace this video with a new one that will cover the new way. In the meantime, we're covering the way it works just now, so you can get started on it before the new way of doing things is going to go live. Now, let's talk about what we need. So to set it up, we need to go to the customer service admin center, and I can search the admin settings for translation, right? Translation. It's under productivity, real-time translation. And here you need to first set the language in which you want everything to be translated. So I need to turn it on, and then I want the default input language. Now, obviously, this is not ideal, right? So you have a default input language, in this case, English, the thing that all of your customers, well, this is the language that you expect the customer to type in and expect the translation to be in, right? So obviously, if a customer comes in, types in a different language, it will detect it and then will translate it into, in this case, English. Now, what I would have liked is that it would pick up the customer service representative's display language, right? That could be in German, and then pick that language to translate it in, but unfortunately, it doesn't do that. So hopes up for the new version. I don't know if that's going to be in there, but you will have more configuration options for this translation. You can set different languages per workstream, etc. That is not the case just yet. So here we pick up the default input language. Now, as you can see, it also needs a web resource URL. Now, to set up all of the things that we need, first we need to do a few things. We need to go to Azure, and I need to set up a translator service, right? That is the actual thing that is going to translate the incoming messages. Now, there is a script that we need to adjust in just a bit. We can choose between the Google Translator service or the Microsoft Translator service, right? In this video, I'm going to obviously pick my Microsoft one because all of my data will stay in my tenant and all of my, information will stay secure, right? So in this case, I'm going to pick my resource group. I'm going to walk you through the steps. So in this case, I have to start by creating a translator resource. So I'm searching for translator, and you'll find this translator a Microsoft Azure service. So I'm going to click that. I'm going to pick create. Oh, let me put it into the right subscription. That is fine in that resource group. And now this is important. So the region, for it to work with Dynamics, you have to pick the global region, right? So you can't pick, for example, Western Europe. You have to pick global. Now, this is important, and I hope that is going to change as well, because obviously I want my messages to stay within my data region, and there's no way of securing that right now. So if you use this, mind that picking global means that you're not sure that your messages from your customer and from your agent are going to stay in your local region, right? So this is a data risk. Now, let me say this is my real-time translator for my CCAS demo. And I'm just going to say it is a pay-as-you-go, right? Because normally you would have a free tier, but the free tier I already have set up somewhere else. So I have to pick the standard. Say next, next, and create. So I can just press next, 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 and then wait for it to validate and create. That is really, really fast. It's a really tiny resource. So this will just take a few seconds before it's set up. And here we go. Go to the deployment. All right, let me refresh this. There we go. There's the translator service. Now, what we need from this is some keys, right? On this part, we have manage keys. I'm going to click on it, and then we got the keys right here, right? So mind that we, so this key we're going to need to put into a script. So that script that we need to download, that is something that you will find on this specific page. So there's a GitHub repository with samples where you'll find a real-time translation and a web resource JavaScript, and I'm gonna link it in the description of this video as well. Now I'm gonna show you where to put it in. So right on top of the script, where you'll find line 18, the Bing Translate API client. This is what you are going to replace with your key. So the key that we're going to use is key 1. So I'm going to copy this over, and let me do that on my other screen. I'm going to copy that over, put it into that Bing Translate API secret between the quotes. And then what you also want to do is set this one to yes. So there's on line 22, there's enable language detection with history messages. This means that if you set that to true, right, not to yes, but to true, then that will scan all of the messages that is already in your conversation and will use that to determine the language, right? So you want to set that to true. Now, if you have this, you downloaded this text file or the JSON file, you edited the code, you set this to true, then we need to upload this web resource. Now, to do that, we will go to make.powerapps.com, right? Let me go there. Make sure that you are in the right environment and then go to solutions. So you can add it to any of the solutions you have. If you don't have a solution just yet, you can create a new one or you can add it to the default solution. I have an empty solution right here, and I'm going to add a web resource to this one, right? So I'm going to create a new web resource, and I'm going to choose a file, and that file is the file that I just edited, right? So that is the JSON file, and you can see that the change that I did. So here is my secret key, and here is my enable language detection and history messages set to true, right? You can leave the language right in there. This is all just fine, and I'm going to save it now. You do need to publish this resource, right? So you've added it. Mind that you also need to publish it before you can actually use it. So we can publish this single resource right here, or you can press and publish all of the changes. But in this case, I'll just publish this one resource, right? So that means that it becomes publicly available for you to use. Now, once that is done, once your publish is succeeded, you can click it again, and then you'll get this URL. So this is the URL that I need to put into my config into Dynamics. So let me copy that. Let me go back to my admin center, right? And then you'll find the web resource URL right here. This is what I'm putting in. Now, it will always give you an error for some reason. It is super strange. It says that it doesn't match your web resource. I've never been able to go in here without an error. But if you refresh, you do have to put it in. Okay, press save and close. Again, there's errors right here, but if you press save and close and you go back, then you see that it has been saved just fine. Everything is in there. It works just fine. So ignore the error, press save and close to actually save it. I don't know. This error has been in there for a long time. I've been tagging Microsoft for a few times as well, but unfortunately it hasn't been changed. I hope that obviously the new translation functionality will well, fix all of this. But in this case, ignore the error. Make sure that you open it back up and that the resource is actually in there, right? So now we've set everything up. We've set up our resource. We published our resource. We set up our translator service. We put the key in. We put it in the configuration. Now, how do we actually use it, right? So we set everything up for the CSR to use. Now, to do that, we go back to the customer service workspace. And let me refresh everything in here so that it loads all of the new resources as well. Right? So, and let's start a chat. Let's start a chat and see how that looks. So I am gonna go and start. Let me refresh this page as well. I have the customer side here. Let's try and open a chat. An agent will be with you in a moment, right? So my customer side is now pinging my agent side. I'm gonna accept. It's gonna open up my session. Now with the translation enabled, you can go in here to more options and you can say, I want to turn on translations. So turn on translations. It's not enabled by default. You can turn on translations. And now with everything that is coming in, everything will be translated into the language that we picked. So I can actually say something in Dutch, say, mijn koffie smaakt ontzettend slecht. Right? My coffee tastes really bad. And see what comes in on the agent side. And you can see that it shows you the Dutch version, literally the thing that the customer typed. And you can see, this is the thing that the customer typed and the translation that comes in. So in this case, in English. And I can say something in English, right? You can see it here that we're actually translating to English in real time. I can type something back in English, right? So I can say, that is very unfortunate. Let me check my documentation on how we can fix this issue for you. Right? So I'm typing back as an agent in English, and you can see that immediately it translated that into Dutch because obviously it detected that my customer is Dutch. Now, what does that look on the agent or on the customer side? You can just see the Dutch version, right? So you can't see that was actually typed into the chat window in English. You can just see the end result of that translation. So all in all, really, really powerful. It is a really great tool of having your customer service representative service customers in multiple regions, in multiple languages, etc. You don't have to use it. It is just a tool. I would always have a quick reply ready saying, hey, I am using auto translation for this conversation, just so you're covered, and that translation errors can happen and that the customer is actually aware of you using translator services, right? All in all, really great. I'm really looking forward to the next generation of this real-time translation. And then, as I said, we will be able to set different languages on different work streams, etc. So keep your eyes open for videos around October that are going to cover the new version of this. In the meantime, have fun with the current functionality. It is already a game changer.